I was born 17 years ago. For the past 6 months, I've been in my basement playing Skyrim. But for all those hours, I've never understood what the hell has been going on. I scoured the internet, searching for wikis, to find even the most obscure events in the Elder Scrolls. Behold, sunlight now enters my room. These are the early hours of the morning, and my few moments of free time. Fueled by obscene amounts of caffeine, I search for the events of the Elder Scrolls lore.
The western continent of Yokuda sank into the sea in ancient times. It is, of course, the original home of the Redguards. Although the meaning of the name is unknown, it's kind of rumored that some Redguards actually do know its true origin and definition, but it is still up for debate, which is kind of the norm with these continents. But one very fortunate thing is we actually know quite a bit about Yokuda compared to places like Atmora, even Akavir, and especially Eldmaris. Like, details on that thing is just absolutely nuts, as in just how obscure it is. But anyways, back to this video's topic. So Yokuda, of course, no longer exists, but it is on at least one official map of Western Tamriel, so we've got a pretty good idea of its basic dimensions. There is evidence of contact between Tamrielic explorers and Yokudans, and according to residents of Anvil, ships still sail to Yokuda from there. So there are some sources that say that at least fragments of the continent are still in some form of existence, whether or not there's a few isolated communities of Redguards, or if it's actually just fine and the weather reports were wrong, or if it's just a bunch of barren ruins. We're really not too sure, but it's interesting to note that there's still some sources that suggest its existence. But the largest landmass was Akos Kazaz, but there were half a dozen other large islands such as Samara, Kibi, Kamlesh, and Kanesh. It's unknown whether the landmasses south of the Sea of Pearls, such as Ravan, were traditionally or were ever considered as part of Yokuda. The society was extremely advanced for the time, and it had the best navies in probably all of Nurn, certainly better than those in Tamriel, and the astronomical knowledge, martial arts, politics, philosophy, agriculture, they were all very advanced. It's really debated whether or not the Redguards themselves caused the destruction of Yokuda, or whether it was like a natural event, the gods going absolutely crazy, and maybe like their advanced culture helped them flee from Yokuda, or like predict it, or maybe a bit of both. As far as like the basic politics in Yokuda goes, we're not exactly sure whether or not it was kind of like the holds in Skyrim, like a bunch of smaller kingdoms, various tribal groups, or one central state. However, we do know that the whole one central state, like the Empire or the Dominion, is extremely unlikely because Yokuda was the scene of frequent warfare, and one of the leading tales behind the cataclysm was a rebel band of the Anzi, magical swordsmen who have secret techniques, lost the last civil war and got super angry and somehow made the continent sink into the sea in a very impressive Atlantis fashion. So, yeah, that's the story at least, but it is up to an immense degree of speculation whether or not you put it at that or not. But we do actually have a date for when this allegedly happened, which was around 4th Era 792. And apparently it was predictable to some degree, so again, very interesting to note. So the Yokudans have this impressive fleet, remember, so they sail to the east, where they settle in the continent of Tamriel in the province of Hammerfell in around 1st Era 808. So we actually have some pretty good physical details on Yokuda itself. It, again, of course, is no more, allegedly, but it was rocky, barren, and very, very harsh environment, like even harsher than most places in Hammerfell, such as the Aklir Desert. So, yeah, I can't really comment on that. It still sounds better than Atmora, and I guess Hakavir, but yeah, arid place. So, that's about it for Yokuda. Again, the leading story, well, actually the only story we have beyond some abstract speculations of deities gone wild or a natural event, is that during the last civil war, a renegade band of the Anzi called the Hiradaj, or Hiradirge, again butchering pronunciations left, right, and center, were said to be masters of stone magic. When they were defeated in battle in First Era 792, the argument goes that they had their revenge on the entire land, destroying what they would never rule. And that really brings things to a close. So, well, Yokuda is wiped out, the culture is still very much alive, because unlike the Needs who kind of came to Tamriel, where they became the Nords, so like a sort of like the proto version, the Redguards on Yokuda are still very much the Redguards we have in Tamriel. In fact, the Yokudan pantheon is still alive in the more remote parts of Hammerfell, where it's a mix of traditional worship and ancestor worship. So I'll just go over the brief list of deities. We've got Sakatel, the Yokudan god of everything, Rupga, the chief deity of the Yokudan pantheon, Tuwaka, the Yokudan god of souls, often compared to Arche, Zet, the Yokudan god of agriculture, Morwa, the Yokudan fertility goddess, Tava, the Yokudan spirit of the air, Malok, kind of like an enemy god of the Ragada, Diagna, kind of like a messed up snake cult, I think, Sep, the Yokudan version of Lorcan, Honding, the Yokudan spirit of perseverance over infidels, Lakey, the goddess of Tall Papa and swordsmanship. The daughter of Tall Papa and the goddess of swordsmanship. And Onsi, sort of like their warrior god. So with that, that kind of brings to a close all that we know on Yokuda at least. Yeah, I didn't exactly cover it in the most direct order, but oh well, I think you guys are used to basically all my videos having very little consistency or making that much sense, especially if you watch the LPs. Those are just nuts. So Yeah, very interesting continent. Um, Actually, besides Akavir, I think this is the one I would like to see more of the most. And it's really cool that there's a few really subtle hints that something at least has survived. Of course, we have like the culture surviving in Hammerfell, but parts of the actual continent itself. So, I'm the Loopy Alchemist saying thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.